Dave Palumbo with RxMuscle.com. And I got Chris, the technician Aceto, on the line, and we're about to do the 2016 Arnold Australia preview video. Guys, who will win this week? Will it be a rematch between Cedric McMillan and Kai Greene? Stay tuned to find out and listen to what Chris and I have to say. All right, Chris, we have the Arnold Australia coming up this weekend. Obviously, it's Friday and Saturday over in Melbourne, Australia, but over here in New York time, it's going to be Thursday and Friday. So actually, probably by the time people watch this video, probably a little later in the day, or maybe tomorrow, they'll be seeing the actual show, and it'll be live streamed on digitalmuscle.com, so we'll be able to get to watch it and critique it. But it's exciting, and the reason why it's exciting is because Cedric McMillan and Kai Greene squared off at the Arnold Classic 2 weeks ago, and it was a very close show, as we know. Cedric won prejudging. Cedric won the comparisons at the finals, and Kai Greene won the posing round, and it clinched it for him. Now, you and I have, analyzed the scorecards. We kind of analyzed them wrong, and when we went back, and actually Jeff Roberts actually pointed it out on the site, when we looked at the scorecards, I didn't realize, but round one is the prejudging. I knew that. Round three is the final comparison. Round two is the posing round. So Kai Greene won the posing round unanimously, 5 points to 10. Cedric only lost the night show by 1 point to Kai, and he won the prejudging by 3 points. So technically, Cedric could have won the show by 2 points had there not been a posing round. And I think a lot of people are in denial of that, including George Farah.
I just want to say one thing, because for the people out there that are talking, I respect Arnold tremendously, but Arnold went on the stage and he said, you didn't win with your body, you won with the. This is not true, because you have to look at the score sheet, and Kai Greene won with his body.
Well, and it's I guess you would say this. In the muscularity and symmetry versions of the bodybuilding contest. The muscularity and symmetry versions of the bodybuilding contest, Cedric won.
Yes.
And that's, Dave.
So Arnold was right.
Because I think when it comes to the physical development, I think that Cedric was ahead. But then you pulled it off with the posing. You had the most extraordinary posing routine. And since this is the first year where we're coming back and counting the posing, which is very important, you on the end won. So what is your take on that?
Well, you know what? I think that it is just really, really awesome and amazing that you have people like you in the sport coming back and investing in the development.
Arnold was right.
Arnold was right. I was right. You were right. A lot of people were right. If in the wrap up
from the show, we were wrong because we analyzed the scorecards wrong.
Well,
we thought that Kai actually won the first 2 rounds, and those were the comparison rounds, but they weren't, because round 2, I'm going to show the scorecard. Round 2 was the posing round, which Kai won unanimously, and I think we all agree that Kai didn't win the finals. He only won by 1 point, and Cedric won prejudging by 3 points. So technically, Cedric had the better physique that night. Kai had the better routine.
Well, you know what? It's I guess you could say, yeah, Arnold was right. But what I was alluding to in the wrap up, immediately after the show, I just let my gut do the talking, and I thought,
intended.
Yeah, no, I thought that Cedric won clearly the prejudging. And I thought that Cedric won by, it's right there, but I thought he won by like a nose. And I thought Kai was going to win the night show, but when they put them next to each other, I still had Cedric winning by a nose. And then you asked me about the posing, and I said straight up, I don't like Kai's posing, and I love this routine. I thought it was great, and it was worthy, so I thought he won the routine round. And then it becomes a math equation again. So, I was consistent with what Arnold said, which I thought that Cedric had the better body for the bodybuilding competition, and Kai had a better posing routine. And the irony of ironies is, coming into the show, everyone knew that the posing would be judged, even though Jay, who's usually right, said they weren't going to judge it.
He was wrong.
He was wrong, and that's what it came down to. And that's what makes this show interesting. The takeaway from the score sheets is that the posing was important, And the takeaway from the score sheets is that Kai Greene, who has not lost to anyone since really a substantive loss since for years, with the exception of Phil Heath, he ended up with lots of second place votes in this contest.
Yeah, and which sets up this rematch this week. As Steve Weimer said, it's like Ale Frazier. He sets up this rematch in Melbourne, for basically, who's really the champ, because there's a lot of controversy. A lot of people think Cedric's the uncrowned champ because he won the comparison rounds. A lot of people think Kai Greene did enough to win. So you got both camps, arguing who should have won. Here's a great way to break the tie, because you know what? I always say consistency should be the guy who wins. In other words, you can't just be good on one night and then be terrible the rest of the time. So whoever can come back here to this show and look consistently better or the same as they did at the Arnold, and whoever wins here, I think will be really the true champ. And I think it does give you the rematch that we never see, really. And I believe that this rematch will be judged fairly. I don't think it's going to have sometimes we see the Olympia and then Mr. Olympia will compete the week after, and then he kind of has the edge. I don't think anyone has the edge going into this event.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I just to clarify, I think all in all between Cedric and Kai last week, I think it came down to math. Meaning, I think it's that's in the wrap up. I said, it's too much for me. If I have to get a calculator out, then the prejudging's too much. And I was trying to make fun of the point that the show was close. I think we have our biases, people. And this is just a great way, this show in Australia, to either affirm the results from last weekend or upset the apple cart and create some buzz going into the Olympia. If Cedric's good enough to win, he's good enough to win.
I detected a little bit of anger from Kai Greene on that stage when Arnold was interviewing him. He looked almost like he did when he was going to start a fight with Phil Heath up on the Olympia stage. He had that face like he was going to go in Arnold's face. I was like, I can't believe this is going to happen. Is Arnold going to start getting in Arnold's face? Did you pick that up?
It'd be well, yeah, and it'd be as odd, really, a position as if somebody just won the Miss Universe and the head judge, the announcer, hands the chick the trophy and says, you know what, really the competitor had a banged up body who got first runner up. She was like, everyone agrees that she was far better looking than you, but you won the trophy based on your speech at the end, how to save the world. I detected anger, and it's just funny, the irony, because what I thought of that is, if Jay Cutler had been given the award, Jay would have said, well, Arnold, that's your opinion. You know what? I worked my ass off. Give me the trophy and the check. See you next year. I'm coming back.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And he would have believed it.
Yeah.
But Kai's whole modus operandi is the believe tour.
Yeah.
And he just kind of faded away. And you know what? Phil would have stomped his foot and hit the most muscular, got the crowd going nuts, and probably said, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You got spaghetti legs, Arnold. Remember?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just...
So, who comes back better here? Do you think we're going to get another matchup like we did in Columbus, in Australia, or will someone be dramatically better this week?
I'm expecting Cedric to look even better, because I told you running into the show, he really doesn't care anymore. Meaning, he cares, but he's finally figured out that I am not going to hang my prep and my self-worth and all this on how I place. I'm just going to come in and be the best that I can, and wherever I place, I'm going to work with it. You know what I mean? I'm going to accept it. Yes, I want to win, which is the whole different than, I got to win, and I got to win, and if I don't win, it's the end of the world. And I'm not saying that previously he had the attitude, if I don't win, it's the end of the world, but, it's an adaptive process that you go through, where you lose so many shows, really, where you only Phil and Coleman and Jay win all the shows essentially, but where you know how to react or respond to a loss rather than react to a loss. So
Josh Lenardowitz, where does he wind up this coming week? Does he
I
beat
think
Justin Compton?
Yeah, he'll beat Justin Compton because Justin spent his body between prejudging and finals last year trying to make it look better. And there's a carryover effect of trying to nuke your body in a short period of time.
So you
Kai
think
can get away with
will
it.
Compton come back worse, or will he be
Better.
about the same?
He'll be better.
Compton
Will be better than last week, I think. But you're not going to see magnificent.
You just said he spent his body between last.
Yeah, but last week he was a disaster.
Right.
I mean, you can't but I mean, if you're expecting like 1 week a jump, like tremendous improvement, I just don't think it's going to happen. Couple that with the flight, I think he won't get by Josh again.
So you think Lenardowitz will wind up in third? Now, Lenardowitz was impressive. I think I've seen him better, but he brought conditioning. He brought, symmetry. He brought some polish to his physique. He wasn't like knock you over, but he wasn't off. And a lot of these guys, like Compton, was off.
Yep.
And I think that's why Lenardowitz pushed past him, because he wasn't his best, but he was good enough where you said, hey, this guy's showing some very good lines. He's got a nice muscle bellies. He's a young-looking guy. He doesn't look like he's been, through the ringer, so to speak. Yeah. And I think you're right. I think, in his hometown, he's going to have definitely an advantage over Compton. But if Compton comes back crazy, who knows? Now, in your mind, does Compton try to do some crazy stuff here, or is he better off trying the conservative route? And what will you think he will do?
I think he's better off, and probably will, going the conservative route. It's hard to say, of course, because you don't really know what he did to get there, to get that result.
Right.
I just, I think he's probably realized, it was a missed opportunity, and he's probably trying to make up for it. And the only way you can make up for it is go into a complete utter panic, which is not a good thing.
No.
Or, you can do rational things to get better. The rational thing is to get, the right thing is to do the rational things to get better. Of course, as bodybuilding, no one's rational.
He should just carb deplete the whole week.
Yeah,
and then
eat a banana before going on stage.
Yeah, mildly carb up with like a half a diazide, and he'd probably look amazing.
Yeah. Less
is better, I always say. Evan Centopani. Will Evan Centopani push past Lenardowitz or Compton this week, you think?
He technically could. It's just, I haven't got over. I thought he was overlooked last week, I don't think he got the calls to get into a place where he probably could have ended up. And I think that if he gets in the mix, him in the middle, Josh on one side, Compton on the other, I'd like to see that call. I think too. I think he can beat Justin on the back shots. I think he can beat Justin because of the gut issue on the side.
Yeah.
Chest and side try. Justin's got him on the quads, but you got to see the flow.
And I think he's got like Evan might have a better ab thigh too than
Yeah, Evan is closer to Josh physique wise.
Yes.
The way it looks, the way it flows, the power of it. Than either one of those guys are close to Justin. Justin's got his own unique, distinct, body that competes with itself, and stuck between those two, he's either going to beat them both or he's not going to beat either one of them because of the difference in the way they look.
And of course, the 21-year-old phenom Cody Montgomery going over to Australia as well. He probably will snag a top 6 here, I believe. Then that should be a real feather in his cap if he can do that. And, I guess it was a good pro debut for him. While we wanted to see him maybe place higher, I think he did about as much as he could with the physique that he had to work with.
Yeah, he had the best amount of condition that he could have on that, that amount of muscle for this period of time. And I think this week, probably what will happen because he's young and things work like they're supposed to work. I think that, he'll be even better this week. And, maybe other people will be a little bit tired, burnt out, the whole 9 yards. So, he's got a good chance to move up.
Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to all the action this coming week at the Arnold Australia. Hopefully Johnny Styles will make it in. I hear he's stuck in customs right now. We're hoping he slips through. For now, though, I'm Dave Palumbo with Chris, the technician Aceto for RxMuscle.com.